Yeah, man. So I'm kind of trying to look at the slate for tomorrow. Wanted to see if I could find a cheap money line that I want to play. So the way that I personally do this is I go to Handigraphs first. So Handigraphs, quick shout out to that. That is our site that you can basically get all the best analytics on baseball, all the splits, everything. You're going to see that here in just a second if you're on the live stream. But make sure
it helps to answer the why.
Yep, it answers. It helps if you have a projection. Great, use Handigraphs to validate that. Just go and answer the why with Handigraphs. HG Dads, by the way, is the code you want for that. Okay, so I'm on Handigraphs. The thing that I want to look for here is I'm going to go to. I like using last five. Last three also works for this, but I like last five. I get a pretty decent sample size for a lot of guys here.
I've noticed, by the way, not to cut you off, but I've noticed that if I start with last five and then filter down to last three from there, it's a lot more fun on my pitches.
Yeah,
so, like
okay.
I get like a bigger pool.
A rare occurrence where Adam and I have the same process. It doesn't happen that often.
It doesn't happen very often. No. Like last time when we did this and you were like, holy crap, you do this entirely backwards from me.
Yeah, literally we did a live lab of this for our Discord users. And Adam did one way. I was like, okay, well, let me show you how I do it. And it is exactly the opposite of what Adam does. But you know what? We both make money here. So, all right. So I'm going to go for a filter here that I like. So one of the things with I'm looking for pitchers that have been struggling is a K minus BB, and which guys in particular are going to have really low K minus BB for their last couple of starts. It just tells me that you probably don't have good command as is. Now there's some guys, by the way, like that just in general have pretty low K minus BB because they just don't strike out anybody. But I'm looking for guys that I might normally associate with having a higher strikeout rate, and recently they've been pretty bad at that. So next thing I'm going to do is I look and I see, okay, so I'm going to sort
by the way,
this
can you tell everybody at home what K minus BB is?
Sure. Yeah. So good call out there. So all K minus BB is take the strikeout rate for a pitcher and then minus the walk rate for that pitcher, K minus BB. So if you have a, say, 25% strikeout rate, you've got a 7% walk rate, you have a K minus BB of 18. In general, I like to use 20% as sort of, if somebody is over that, those are guys you want to target in terms of backing. If pitchers have a K minus BB lower than 10 to 12%, those are guys that you probably want to fade. So again, you can kind of play around with that. I think 20% is kind of a good benchmark for that one. So now I'm kind of trying to see, all right, are there any of these teams that I would expect to be favored? And we're going to go to Hall of Fame bets here to confirm this in a second. But which are the guys that have been struggling on a team that I would think is likely favored in this game? And to me, there's two that immediately stick out. Actually, maybe three, which is Liberator, Cortez, and Clay Holmes. Now, Cortez has barely pitched, and he's also on a different team. Not going to really trust the last five so much with that one there. And so then I'm forced to kind of decide between Liberator and Clay Holmes. Might be a common theme with this podcast, Adam, because I think I'm going to be fading the Mets. So let's go look at what that money line is here for tomorrow. So I'm going to go back into Hall of Fame bets. And sure enough, you've got a plus 115 on the Atlanta Braves. Okay. So again, I'm not saying that this is one that I want to go bet just yet. It's just, all right, that's a pitcher that's been struggling. I know that has also, from Clay Holmes' perspective, a guy that probably should be shut down for a little bit, given that he has never pitched this many innings in an entire season. It's his first season starting, converted as a reliever. So that also makes sense that his K minus BB has consistently gone down. And if you go and you kind of look at the pitcher ratings here, I'm looking at like last 10. I want to see, are we seeing any sort of decrease in some, good metrics for Holmes, as well as some increase in some bad ones. So you got 2.6 earned runs, 48th percentile. Yep, you can see a little bit of a tick there from last 10. outs per game, those are down. Ks per game, about the same. But yeah, he's obviously been struggling. Whereas Strider, you can see about 7.4 per game, 2.2 earned runs. His actually has gone up a little bit. He's been giving up home runs, but he is getting more outs. And also I would think, is probably getting in a little bit better form. The other thing that I'll check here is just, again, quick glance. You look at their last 10. Atlanta's actually hitting okay right now. For a team that has largely given up on the season, they are hitting fairly well. And then the only other thing I want to check here,
I think they get Acuna back in this series too.
I think they do too. And also the Braves, I believe they have I think they're like 4-2 or 6-2 against the Mets so far this season. So they've matched up pretty well against them. So the only other thing I'm going to do is I'll go back to Handigraphs real quick. And I just want to see, what has this team been doing against right-handed pitching? So bottom of the lineup, pretty ugly, but man, top 5 guys for the Braves are hitting quite well. And you said that Acuna might be back for this. I don't see him in the projected lineup yet.
Not tomorrow, but I'm talking about during this series.
Okay. Yeah. So, but at least like your guys in the top 5 of this lineup are all hitting quite well. And the other thing that I want to check too is
you've got all lefties. It's 3 straight lefties.
That's what I was going to say. But you've got 3 and you've got 4 lefties out of the first 5. So then if I go back to Holmes, again, on Handigraphs, you have that nice little feature there, right? You can just click opponent and boom, goes straight there. But if I go to last 60, actually, Holmes has been pretty good against lefties, it looks like, for the most part. So that might be the only thing that I guess is giving me a little cause for concern there. And then I'll just quickly check from so let me go back here real quick. So if we go to the Braves, just so I can get a quick check on Strider. And again, you can do this all within like 3 to 4 minutes, right? Like, so we go to Strider, we're going to go with the Mets. Again, last 30 Mets. And besides Mullins and Mauricio, everybody has been, I guess Alonso has been hitting the ball pretty well.
Alonso's been pretty good.
A lot of blue, though, other than Soto and Alonso. And Soto, by the way, has been awful with guys in scoring position. So that 886, honestly, is even probably a little bit of a misnomer. Either way, man, I don't hate this. I might want to try, by the way, to get a better line if I can on plus 115. I'd be kind of also interested in playing a run line.
So hold on, just to back up and just to bring it all together. You were targeting dudes. You were targeting dudes that were going to be like probably dogs when you were looking at the Handigraph stuff, and then you were bringing it over to
yes,
Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Basically, like to kind of recap everything that I just went through.
Yeah. Just want to make sure everybody follows how we get to the dog because
you can do the opposite flow where you want to you think a favorite should be a larger favorite. I think you can create filters in that for whatnot on Handigraphs. Kind of just do the opposite in terms of K minus BB. Like you might be able to do that, especially if there's 2 teams that are decent teams playing each other. But in this case, I'm just trying to figure out who do I think is going to likely be a money line dog who, from a splits perspective and matchup perspective, within 90 seconds, I can quickly tell that they probably shouldn't be that long of odds to win the game, essentially. So there might be other stuff that you can play with that too, right? Like obviously the first 5 for Atlanta team total over could be a play. There's a couple other things you could do there, but that's in general, man, what I would try and do using Hall of Fame bets here is to quickly kind of identify the money line and the dog, look at the pitcher ratings, and then look at the batter form and a couple other things I can validate on Handigraphs. I don't know, Adam, if there's anything you do differently, which probably 90% of it is, but
no, I think that's great. I'm like, because I'm learning on it. I guess my question, so because I don't mess with K minus BB that much. So you're using K minus BB to you is a metric. So like, for example, I have a filter up right now and Jack Leiter is in there for tomorrow in part of this filter. And this is a filter based on guys that sneaky pitcher and game unders because they're performing pretty well. The K minus BB on Jack Leiter is bad. It's blue. It's 10%. So I should interpret that as They're probably going to be, actually, I don't even know who they're against. They're against Arizona. They'll be favorites. So, and they're at home. But so I would, like you're looking for guys that have bad K minus BB and are going to be, and are going against it that will probably be slight favorites. Is that basically what you're saying?
Yes.
So,
Yeah. That's sort of the initial. Yeah. And then, I mean, again, some of this is also just watching the games and knowing the types of pitchers. Cause I mentioned at the beginning, right? Like Quintana, that's a guy that's always just going to have a lower K minus BB because he just doesn't strike out a lot of guys.
Yes.
Whereas Clay Holmes, earlier this season, he was touching north of 24-25% on the K rate. It's obviously from the season wise, like gone down. It's 18.6. But like if you look, last 5, like 14.9%, even on the season, that's still a 4+% drop in K rate in just his last 5 starts. That to me just tells me that either they're either tired, they could be hurt, or something's just kind of not working in terms of their pitch mix and their selection. So it's just kind of a quick, easy signal for me. You could and I'm sure you probably use in this instance, like you might just use like ERA and expected ERA because you could just see what
I'm using. I'm using hard hit rate and barrel rate a lot more now. And I'm using walk rate. I should start using K minus BB more. I heavily weight a lot of expected ERA to find value. When there's a discrepancy from regular ERA.
Sure.
And then whip. I'm basically my filters are set up so that are you allowing a lot of base runners or are you not allowing a lot of base runners as like the core hypothesis, and then moving it from there to, well, if base runners are on, that's threats, that's runs, that's this. If base runners are not on, then there you go. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I like it. I mean, this is what we do all this. So by the way, that's the last time I'm going to check out the private chat because of the other thing. But I did see what you're saying. So all right. Anyway, we got again, Hall of Fame Bets, hofapp.com. Use code DADS.